Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs today. As Kyle Dubas has reportedly come out and said if we do not do well this season, there's going to be big changes to the Leafs roster. Potentially Mitch Marner, potentially William Nylander. We're going to be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, want to see more videos like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, for a lot of people out there, I think the expectations are very high for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. They've been high for the past 2 seasons already, but now there's no more excuses. John Tavares is your captain. Austin Matthews is now making over $11.5 million per season. Same thing for Mitch Marner, making over $10 million. And now you've got, you can't complain about the defense. They've changed things up on the blue line. They've added, TJ Brody, Zach Bogosian, as well as some of the young guys that are going to be coming in the lineup. Guys like Mikko Lehtinen, Rasmus Sandin, and eventually Timothy Liljegren. They've obviously had some situations in between the pipes. Freddie Anderson is the guy, but remember, he is on the final year of his deal, and he will be turning 32 by the end of next season. So the Maple Leafs are going to have a lot of questions. This is their roster. They are going all in this year once again, and they know they have to win. So it brings up the question, if the Leafs do not do well this year, then it brings up the question, should they move potentially William Nylander and, or more than likely it'll be one or the other, Mitch Marner. Now, Mitch Marner right now is 23 years old. He has another 5 years at $10.893 million per season. He signed that contract, I believe, 2 years ago now, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy? As well as William Nylander, who has only 4 years left on his deal at less than $7 million per season. That's a much easier contract to move. He's a little bit older. He's only a year older at 24 years old. But remember, William Nylander can play both wings, which is a really nice asset to have in a player. Again, this is a guy, he takes up 8.5% of the Leafs cap. Marner takes up 13.4% of the Maple Leafs' entire cap space. Yikes, that's a decent amount. So that's just something to keep in mind. And ideally, the question is, what do the Leafs trade Marner or Nylander for? Well, we're going to probably have more clarity on that at the end of this season. Again, the Leafs are more than likely going to make the playoffs this year. You look at the Canada division, it is quite difficult, but at the end of the day, I think it's just a lot of pretty good mediocre teams. I think Vancouver is going to be up there, and I really think again, the Maple Leafs, I think it's going to be Toronto and Vancouver taking over that division. Kind of like what we're going to see in the West Division. I think Colorado and Vegas are going to run away with it, and everybody else is going to fill out the rest of the division. I think we're going to see something like that in the Canada division as well. I just think there's too much up front, and I think it's going to be an advantage for the Leafs. I think they get into the postseason, but again, what is the expectation? Is it a Eastern Conference, well, I guess a conference final, because there's no conferences this year, but I guess, the semifinal round, is that enough for the Leafs? Is a Stanley Cup final enough for the Leafs to not make this trade? Is not winning the Cup the standard for the Leafs? So where does the line draw? Now, you could question at the end, now you may be saying, I'm going to say, maybe they need a goaltender next offseason. You may be saying, what do you mean they have Freddie Anderson? Like I mentioned, though, earlier, Freddie Anderson will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, and they will not have somebody to replace him next year. Now, if you look at some of their depth in between the pipes, they have guys like Joseph Woll, Ian Scott, Aaron Dell, and Michael Hutchinson. But are those guys going to be reliable? If the Leafs want to go on a strong playoff run next year, potentially playing Andrei Vasilevsky, Tuukka Rask, or any other goaltender for that matter, pretty easy answer is those guys are not going to be up to that level. So the Leafs could potentially move a Mitch Marner or a William Nylander in some kind of deal where they pick up maybe a middle to decent sized goaltender and potentially another defenseman. Because chances are, if a team's looking to acquire a forward like Marner or Nylander, they're not looking, they're not going to trade away their good forward unless there's the situation that that guy is a pending unrestricted free agent. But the Leafs aren't going to want to take that pending unrestricted free agent for a guy like Nylander or Marner because there's too much risk there for the Leafs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But the Leafs, Kyle Dubas is kind of putting his foot down. Now the question is, he's put his foot to the fire. Now he kind of has to make sure that if the Leafs don't do well this year, that he has available options at the end of this season for what he's going to do. And it's more of just a media thing. It's going to let me and other people talk about the Leafs. What kind of deal would you see for Mitch Marner and William Nylander? I know you Leaf fans don't like me too much, but let me know if you've made it this far in the video. Leave some mock trades. If you were to trade one of William Nylander or Mitch Marner, which one would it be? And if so, what would be the price and potentially who would you want to acquire? Leave some mock trades down below. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Make sure to check out our Patreon for a weekly podcast every Thursday night. Take a look at the latest news around the NHL, answer your guys' questions from the YouTube comment section down below. So if you're interested in that, make sure to leave some comments down below. Once the season gets going, I'm hoping to start doing some live streams during the season. So if you're interested in that stuff, make sure to subscribe so you're up to date on what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey. Guys, thank you so much for watching.